But what I realized is like people have a hard time being intentional about the different capacities they have in life. And that's something that I've built a very great skill at.
I'm still struggling sometimes. But you
and I'll
help
be
me.
on your ass about it. Because I have a lot of people that I know that are single parents in a marriage. They don't have any support. So I think you can't see the accessibility to completing your goals because you're emotionally distraught.
You know, I hear it quite often when some parents, I mostly hear it from moms, ironically, when some parents say, well, I had to struggle, I had to do this, so my kid needs to struggle.
That's crazy.
I will
That's
refuse.
Crazy.
I refuse.
Oh, that's crazy.
Refuse. Welcome back. It's your favorite six-figure chick podcast. My name is Kaya. I am one of the career strategists. And today I have with me
Professor Nandi Holmes. I am also a career strategist at Six Figure Chick Consulting. And today we are going to continue talking about being the working mom.
Yes, part 2.
MILF style.
Extra emphasis on that MILF.
Capital M-I-L-F.
Yes.
Okay, because you need to still be sexy when you take care of these children.
Of course, we are moms, but we were women before mom.
Sure are.
Period.
Period. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this because so many students and clients that I come across, their identity is being a mother.
Really?
When I was pregnant, I was terrified that would happen to me. Something about that made me so uncomfortable.
Really? Okay.
Hell yeah. Because like I want to be a human. Like the pressure that they said, like, oh, when you have a kid, your whole life changes.
It's over in some retrospect. That's what some people say.
I don't know. I was like, why the hell would you tell me that?
Exactly. I'm just getting started.
I'm pregnant as hell. Why the hell?
You won't be able to do anything. Everything revolves around your child, which, yes, in a sense, it does somewhat. You know, our life does change, but there's such a negative connotation around it.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I'm not just a mom. I was Kaya. I was Nandi before I was a mom.
And first of all, I'm Imaz's mother.
Period.
I'm not your mother. I'm not my boss's mom. I'm just Imaz's mother. And that's how small I like to keep it, right? Like I've always been really career driven. Like I've always wanted a lot professionally, like since I could remember. And I knew I was going to be a mom, but I didn't necessarily know what that looked like. Had no clue. Like I wanted to get married, have a kid. You know, I figured I'd have a home by then. I'd have hella money, like to where I could just.
I didn't know I'd be a mom so soon.
Well, I gave birth to my daughter at 25, and I still felt like that was so young. Like, granted, this was not planned. Okay,
neither one.
We got pregnant a month after one another, and it was just so interesting because like. We just never knew when it was going to happen and didn't know what that looked like. And again, like hearing all that stuff in the background, like, oh yeah, your life's going to change. I was scared as shit. I'm not going to lie. Like I had no idea what was going to happen because I knew I want to build a life for myself, right? Like I don't want to have to worry about bills. Auto pay, easy. Like not even an indent. I wanted to travel.
Right.
And then I always says like, you know, you're not going to be able to travel like that when you become a mom. Like your life is going to be so focused on the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I realized is like, people have a hard time being intentional about the different capacities they have in life. And that's something that I've built a very great skill at.
I'm still struggling sometimes. But you
and I'll
me.
be on your ass about it. Because
often.
Drop this kid off, but take care of her. My daughter is taken care of. She has accounts. She's going to be 18 with options. She's not going to be in debt like I was just for housing for college. Like she's going to either have business and go to school. She's going to have stock. She's going to have the visibility to do whatever she wants. And that's my responsibility as a mom. And that's what me being a career woman equates, right? Like, I don't necessarily have to, like, never go anywhere or, like, always be in the house and not rely on other people in order to make sure I can do the things. Like, you know, I'm here.
Exactly.
You know?
Our job is to cut their time in half in terms of the things that they need to do and the things that they need to achieve.
Yeah.
You know, I hear it quite often when some parents, I mostly hear it from moms, ironically, when some parents say, well, I had to struggle. I had to do this, so my kid needs to struggle.
That's crazy.
I will refuse. I refuse.
Oh, that's crazy.
Refuse. Kendricks will not struggle.
Yeah.
He will get everything he wants, you know, as long as it's within reason and, you know, not being overspoiled. But that is our job. as a mom, as she says, she's Amaz's mom. I am Kendrick's mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's
I
the
have
extent
nobody's
of
mom
it. Yeah, like
except him. And so I work hard the way I do so that he doesn't have to, and he will not struggle. I refuse.
Yeah, no, I
Point
agree.
blank, period.
And I think that mentality of like, well, like I didn't have this, so it's not a big deal that you don't. If I can do it, you can. Hell no.
Oh no, you have everything, whether I had it or not.
Man, what? Because it's debt crisis.
Exactly. You're not
Hey,
going in debt.
no, you're gonna actually the credit score is gonna be lit at 18.
Exactly.
The
You're gonna have a car.
hell, the car.
The car
Hey,
might be used
let me tell you,
because I go through cars. But
no, but that's so important. I had to get my
Yes.
own car. I think I got my license at like 20.
Really?
Yes.
I'm quite surprised that you got it that late.
Bitch, I was broke. We were broke as hell. Like, and my mom, had health issues. So like she wasn't really in a position to like drive me around, help me learn how to drive and stuff. And like we didn't have the money for me to get a car either. And she didn't really let me work. Like I needed a
Really?
car
Okay.
to get to it was just like a different
One
situation.
thing after another.
Hell yeah.
Another
And I think
catch-22.
I'm so dead serious about that. Like my kid's gonna be able to get where she's
Mhm.
going and not depend on people. I remember I broke my leg my senior year of high school. So I'm not riding the fucking bus because what?
Right.
And I had my best friend. She had a car, so she used to pick me up all the time. And I used to hate the feeling of having to rely on people to this day.
Oh yes, you're heavy on that.
Hell yeah, I do not want to rely on anybody.
Nandi will be quick to say, "I'm independent," and I'm like, "There's some things. If you want me to grab you some coffee, I can grab it. I'm independent. I know you're independent, but it is nice to also have friends that do the same things that you do for them. She helps me in lots of ways, but she doesn't like help. I don't like getting help and shit.
I
in
force
any way
it though.
capacity.
I force it.
Exactly.
I barely even ask.
Exactly. But I also force it where I'm like, all right, what do you need? What do you want?
Yeah. No, it's a great
sometimes I'll bring her Starbucks. I don't anymore because I've gotten her drink wrong twice.
I don't even know how. It's just a chai latte with vanilla and soy milk. Because
she says that now, but it's like an almond milk, extra foam, like all this extra stuff.
Be real.
Venti, grande. I don't know the Starbucks.
It's okay.
lingo.
We're not drinking Starbucks right
refresher.
now. We're not drinking Starbucks right now.
Thank God, because
But
yeah, in terms of being a mom, like, do you feel that once you had your daughter, once you had Maza, do you feel like trying to navigate the space and trying to, because you one thing about Nandi, she's always worked multiple projects, multiple jobs. She's very very driven. Me, I can juggle about 2. She can juggle about 8. I'm not doing that. But the thing is, do you feel that you've gotten better with the prioritizing and organizing your jobs now that you're a mom, or was it better before you were a mom? Like,
I actually only had one stream of income when I was pregnant and before I had Imaza. And we got pregnant around COVID time, or we had our children when COVID happened. I got laid off. That's what sparked me to be like, fuck no, I'm never having one stream of income because I was at 0 and it stressed me out. I was on my ass. I was like, this is a bad feeling. So when COVID happened and when I got laid off in 2020, I was like, it's time for me to crank it up. And I know there's been issues with capacity, so I've had to dial back some because, again, like I've talked about before, it was hard for me to say no because I feel like I was missing out on opportunity that might be detrimental to my success. But I think it was, as it was coming, I learned and I grew from it. And it was to the point, too, where it was spilling into my personal time with Imaza and my husband. So we both had to kind of sit down and be like, okay, like financially, what do we need? You're doing this and this and this. Can we possibly cut down this? And I've also been more intentional about my time. I maximize the hell out of my day. You will not catch me working past 5 p.m. That is time for my family. And that's time for myself. On equation for my students that might need it, that are like overseas or something, I'll accommodate them. But that's, every blue moon. And I think that's helped a lot with me feel like I'm balancing being a mom and a wife and a professional, because they get their time and my clients and my students get their time. And I think that's been really helpful. I'm really big on calendar management, so no time is unaccounted for. So like if I know like I have projects for like one of my contracts, or like I have to meet with students, or like board meetings or whatever, I intentionally put that on my calendar to exactly see what my capacity is for my other things. Like I never double book. I try and be very intentional about like setting blocks for each different thing that I have on my plate to ensure that when I'm not doing too much that day too. Because if I'm not adding everything to all my calendars and nothing's aligning and I'm just accepting things randomly for everything, that's hectic.
Right.
So yeah, calendar management is my life actually. Like I cannot stress that enough. Like I use my iPhone, the calendar.
And I love how you prioritize things. I'm still working on that. That's very weak point of we all have weak points. Especially when you are a working parent and a working mom.
Yeah.
That's one of my weak points is not prioritizing but the time management of myself. After the 5 p.m.s, working till 11 p.m. because I'm an insomniac, so sometimes I'm just up.
She's like, might as well work.
Might as well work.
Which is not healthy, girl. You might as well
Well,
put a mask
it's
on
either that or
something.
scrolling on TikTok, and that's not healthy either.
Or take your ass back to sleep.
Sometimes you can't sleep, so you have to do something productive. In my mind, I have to do something productive to get back to sleep. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. If you were a server or any kind of hostess, you understand that lingo. Mm-hmm. And that's how my brain is working, at 2 and 3 a.m. I'll text Nandi. She'll be dead asleep.
And too.
She'll be dead asleep.
Oh,
but I'll be up. But I know some things with being a working mom. I always wanted to make sure that I had enough time for my family and for my son because I don't want him to always see, oh my God, my mom's working. She doesn't have enough time for me.
Yes. That's what Imaza was saying. She's like, Mommy, because our office is next to her room. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, Mommy, you're working again? I miss you all the time.
And that hurts.
I said, Maza, please be real. Please don't do that to me.
She's a little dramatic, but she's so dramatic. But there's some truth in it, I'm sure.
No, because especially when I have a lot on my plate, sometimes it does spill over. But again, it's every blue moon. So if it's like 2 days out that week that I'm having to finish up work because it's like an extreme deadline, like it just is what it is. She's upset about it. Like she sees me working in the office and this girl will literally pop into my office and be like, hey, Mommy, I'm just checking on you. She's 4, freshly 4. And like, hey, Mommy, I love you. Yeah, I just want to make sure she's not close to 5. So this was like, she was doing this when she was 3. She's like, hey, Mommy, I'm just checking on you. I love you. And then close the door like every 20 minutes. And yeah, I know, right? It was so sweet. But then I think that happened because she was, she's been young. So I've been able to kind of grind a little bit harder earlier in her life because she is a babe, like she's a little baby, so it's not a big deal. But now as she's getting older, she's paying attention. This girl will grab anything and be like, all right, I'm working, leave me alone, Mommy, I'm working. I said, oh shit,
she's your daughter.
She is my daughter.
My son Kendricks is KJ is nonverbal, and so he speaks when he needs to speak essentially, and he's growing and learning and everything. So while he doesn't do the check-ins, he does come into my office, or if I'm in the kitchen or somewhere, he'll take my hand and lead me back to my office or hand me my phone. That's when I knew I was working too much because that's the only image that he had of me. He would sit me down where my computer was or hand me my phone instead of me playing with him. And that's when I knew I had to shift. And now I've gotten better with that, with my timeline management. Sometimes we just need our kids to say, oh my God, my mom's working too much. And I think I cried the first night he did that because I was like, I'm a terrible mom.
It hits you. You don't notice it because your head's down because you're so focused on providing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I need to get this done to ensure that I can keep my job so that we can do the things.
They don't understand that. They just want to play.
I'm hit, but that's crazy as hell because that's the same thing. Mother really sat down and was like, oh, I'm working like you, Mommy. I said, oh, you are 4. I don't even want you to work for real. Like, exactly. When you're like, I barely want you to work until like you're out of college. Grown, like, what the hell? I was like, oh,
that was scary, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, let me figure it out. I may not be great at timeline management, but now I have a child, and now he has pushed me into, okay, Kaya, now you really have to get your shit together. You are Kendrick's mom. You got to
first. Let's be real.
He comes before anything and anybody.
Yeah.
If anyone's gonna be good, it'll be him.
Yeah.
I will die to make sure he's okay.
That part.
And so when he did that, I was like, oh, okay, let me take some of Nani's advice and get my calendar together.
On her ass. I was like, because we FaceTime all the time. Like I talk to Kaya probably more than I talk to anybody, to be fair.
We do.
And I'm like, girl, you're still on the computer.
For granted, some days I'll take like a 3-4 hour break in the middle of
the
day.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I will take a weird break because my son, he needs me and we play. And that way I can give my attention to him. And then I go back to work when everyone in the house is asleep. I like that because it's quiet. And that's just my brain. But someday she will get on my ass.
Because I know you've been working all day. Because I know she already had a full day. And I'm like, oh, it'll be there. And like I say this all the time, like, we're not saving lives. Like, we have impact. I'm happy when I can actually transform a life. But like, you're not dying on the table, babe.
You're right. It's not life or death.
So like, if we need that grace, that's fine. Because I always tell clients, I'm like, hey, I'm human. This is what the deadline is. However, if anything happens that influences that, I will proactively reach out. Like, I always ask for grace because I give that. I have clients that send me stuff hella late that I need in order to complete their service. And I'm not like, like, hey, you got shit going on.
Yeah. But you'll get it by your deadline if you give me enough time.
That's what I'm
or
saying.
After the deadline, depending. There are times, like she said, we have to work and accommodate the client. But if you give us stuff 3 days late, you better believe most likely it'll be 3 days from past that deadline, because we're going off of the deadline that you have set. Because we also have high expectations of our clients as well. Because when you're telling us, oh, I'm exhausted, my kid is doing this, my child is doing that, we get it. We have children.
Man,
her daughter is very high on the scale of talking, and being that level of, she's freshly 4, but being that level of a 5-year-old. Mine is a little reversed. He's on the spectrum, so his level is more on, like, 3.5, and he's 4. So we also know how to kind of handle children and just parents in general that deal with those different aspects, and things like that. So we get it when you say you're tired and your kids are doing this and they're bothering you. We get it.
No, we really do. And like, I think what I love talking about is prioritizing yourself.
Yes.
Again, majority of my students are parents.
Boundaries.
Saying, I was a parent. I did not have the time to go back to school. I did not have the time to like explore, to find a career that I love. I just had to get my check to provide. And it's like, I didn't have the time. And I'm like, yes, you do. Bro, there's time. Even if it's 45 minutes, bro. And that's what I think people can't see, is that it doesn't have to be hours per day till you contribute to doing anything. You can spend 30 minutes per day.
15 if you need to.
Seriously, like
that Mount Everest commercial, you can do it today. You can do it in the morning before work. You can do it before or after
that
work.
Part, look.
You're sitting on the couch anyhow.
That part, look, and if your job's flexible, maximize. I remember when I was in grad school, when I was pregnant and I was in an internship at my job. Hey, when I finished some stuff.
Yeah. When the children go to sleep.
That's
and I know sometimes people are like, well, I work a retail job. We've been there.
We have been there. We've been in the service.
We didn't have our children at the time, but we've also been there, and we've worked with other clients and parents that have retail jobs. They have cooking jobs. They have housekeeping jobs. Like I said, if you need to just find 15 minutes just for your own self-care and your own boundaries and making sure you're good, you need to be able to pour from a full cup. We can't be great to Kendricks and Amaza if we are empty.
Oh yeah, that's why I believe in that. Like, one thing I'm gonna do is recharge. I'm the first to say I don't have it. I need to do XYZ to get it, and in order for me to help my clients for real, I really need to get it. So I understand the importance, and it might not be as imperative to everyone else because they don't pour into people. Like we coach people. I help people establish strategic plans to help them with their education and career. That takes spirit and time and energy. So in order for me to be able to do that to the best of my ability, I need to rest. I need to take time. And I think that a lot of people that work in the service industry or, just people facing, client facing, it can be very daunting and exhausting. So it's like for you, especially, you need to make sure that you're establishing some type of self-care routine and time to yourself every evening to like be a human and collect your thoughts. But in addition to that, if you're trying to pursue something like a degree or you're upskilling, like let's say you want to get your PMP or something, like even for you, Kaya Ross, let's talk about that HR certification. Like, I understand that. And it's like, if you got to dedicate 20 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or every day. But I'm saying, my thing is like, I deal with so much people saying like, oh, you have to do it at this time. All right, bet I'm gonna knock it out in a month. This month I ain't got shit going on. I'm gonna go ahead and just knock it out the park. And that's so unrealistic because you said that 5 months ago, babe. How about we change that?
And I definitely said that.
She sure the fuck did
a year ago,
but it's okay. We'll talk about it later.
Exactly. But she's gonna get me together.
I am, but it's like small because even I'm considering getting my PMP this year. Where events about to wrap up, I'll have more energy to do other things. We've gone through transformations really in our business.
Oh yes.
So now it's gonna be chill, and I can focus on doing something for myself, which is getting my PMP, right? Something that I want to do this year. But I'm not going to knock it out in a few months. Or maybe I will. I'm just going to spend time per day. Like, you know what I mean?
4 months.
Like, you know, 20 minutes per day to study and do what's needed to do or do a program. And I'm going to find the time. It's going to, again, make sense to me. And if it has to be after my daughter's asleep so she doesn't see mommy in her office for 20 minutes, that's what it's going to be. If it's able to be done during the day, if I have like a class or something for the prep or whatever, I'm going to do that. And I have a flexible schedule where I can do that. And I'm very grateful for that.
That's the beauty thing of having a remote job. I will say that.
Oh my God, yeah. And
so much flexibility.
Because we've been at remote jobs where we didn't have no flexibility. Every second was accounted for.
The right remote job. Yes. I will say that. We work for a company that allows us to be flexible, allows the autonomy. Because what we do is it can be mentally exhausting. We love it.
Leah.
We love our jobs and we love what we do. But it like Nani said, pouring into people can be very mentally exhausting because we're pouring out of our cup. And we have to recharge in order to pour into our children.
That's what I'm saying. We still need the energy to do that.
Yeah, and it's very we're on like a balance beam some days. Like, oh my gosh, like, you know, the mom guilt kicks in. It kicks in heavy. There'll be days I call Nani like, oh, I feel like a trash mom.
And I'm like, a trash bag. I said, sure not. Like we're doing the best we can. And I feel like everyone's doing the best we can. And it looks different for everybody. You can't look at Kaya or look at me and be like, all right, bet I need to do it exactly how Nandi's doing it. You're insane. You have to do it how you can do it in your family and your capacity and what you're even going for. You know what I mean? You can expect to have the same discipline and capacity someone that's pursuing to be a doctor to someone that wants to be like a fashion designer. Like, it's completely different. And I just want people that are parents to understand that you can still pursue what you want in the way that makes sense for you. Like, please do. All my students are older and they regret not doing it. They've gone back to school several times. It doesn't work out because of family or time. And it's never money, to be fair. It might occasionally be money. It's time. And I'm like, 20 minutes per day, babe, you can do it. Like, please, I'm telling you, you can do it. Like, habit. You have to create the habit. It has to be a part of your routine. You have to want it. We are big on
routines.
Hell yeah.
In our house, except for maybe not so much me, but for my son Kendrick's, because he is on the autism spectrum, he has to have his routines, and he will let me know if mommy, if you're changing stuff, I'm not having it. He will let you not have it. And he lets me know. He gets on me. And that is something that I needed as a mom. I did not have that before I had him. I just go, not even tell you, I just go with the wind.
That girl was an angel, huh?
Flowing. But he's a blessing to me. And I'm not going to get emotional, but he's a blessing because I think, and I'm religious, but I think God knew that I needed consistency as a person. And my son gave me that. You have to be consistent. You have to be very structured when you are dealing with a child, but when you have a child that is on the spectrum or just anything, children need routines.
Yeah.
Nadia will tell you, and Maz have been having a 6 p.m. nighttime routine since she was 6 months old.
I wasn't playing because I was in school. Here's the thing.
I love it.
I was in grad school.
I joke, but I love it.
I had to, because where was I going to get the time? My daughter had to be in bed by at least 7:30, 8 o'clock. Because then after that, I had to finish my graduate school work. When I'm talking about, I'm telling y'all this because I did it. Like, if I didn't have a choice, and this is how I think. I'm in something, I don't have a choice but to complete it. Me dropping out of some things has never been an option.
It's not an option.
It really, sincerely, like in my head, I don't go through, oh, well, I'll just not do this and I'll pick it back up later. Like, I swear, in my head, if I start something, I have to complete it. So to me, I was like, all right, bet, what can I do? Because I was pregnant and then I had her, but I was in an internship to complete my graduate school and working full time. Bro.
That's a lot.
Bro.
I had to have a routine. I had a very flexible job when I had my son. So when I had him, I was like, ooh, go with the wind. And then,
she was.
And then once I learned that he was undiagnosed at the time, I said, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to be structured, it'll be him.
Yeah.
I mean, he may go to bed at 8:39 p.m., but that's just him. But
Yeah.
it's definitely. I am blessed to have known another mom and to be on this mom journey with you, with working
At the same time.
oh my gosh, we've been rocking. The motherhood, and some days motherhood rock us both.
We be on FaceTime like, hey, yo,
I can't do
if something's in the air today.
Period.
Someone was in the air today with these kids, right? Because Maz is tripping.
They'll be on 10 together. But they're cool when they actually play together and stuff, but they are on 10. And I'm like, Nandi, I need a drink.
Man, what? Because we're dealing with a full day of again, helping clients, but a lot of it is dumping. I'm happy to be that space.
The trauma dump, yes.
Yes, professional trauma dump. Some professional or some personal stuff does come up, but we're dealing with that, and then our kids are giving us a hard time,
especially when they're with us all day, like on the professional days.
Yeah,
when their schools are both closed.
Yeah,
we feel it.
We definitely feel it, but it's you just have to want it bad enough to push through in a healthy way, and I think knowing what that looks like to you is important. For me, I take intentional health care days. I probably need one next week.
I will too.
You know what I mean? Just off the strength of us traveling, we knocked out some work before we got here.
Knocked it out. Hey. And we miss our children. We miss our children.
Yeah,
I miss my babies so much. I really do.
I really do too. This is the longest time we've been away from. Longest time I've been away from my kid and my husband. We haven't been. This is 5 days. Yes. I said, oh,
I miss them.
What? But yeah, I think we just have to be intentional and want it bad enough, and also filling people up with your life that want it for you too, because I have a lot of people that I know that are single parents in a marriage. They don't have any support. So I think you can't see the accessibility to completing your goals because you're emotionally distraught.
How you're just trying to make it day to day.
It's also frustrating. I'm doing all this shit by myself, and you're on the game or watching TV or working late, whatever the hell you want to say. And we're married, and I'm carrying all the weight for our children. Hey, that's a warning. Figure out how you're all going to parent together before you even lay down with the man at this point, because don't be surprised. I would be very different without my husband. I'm very grateful that he is hands-on with Imaz, that he loves his baby and he will do whatever he needs to do for her. And I want that for everybody, because I feel like that does impact the ability I've had to do what I do.
It makes it different when they're present. Yeah. Marcus is phenomenal with Kendricks, and I can feel a shift when he is at work. Because my son be playing in my face.
Yeah.
Plays in my face.
Yeah, we understand.
As soon as
not
Daddy
everyone
gets home, he don't play into my face.
And I feel like not everyone has that luxury, so we understand it might be harder. However, again, if it's 15 minutes when babe goes to sleep, and you can have that time to just work on what you got going on, the time adds up. If you're consistent, it adds up. I promise. I feel like, again, a lot of people don't see that because they want that instant gratification, or they want to be able to see something tangible off rip. I get it. But if you're all right, bet. For instance, for the PMP, they have curriculum on their website. You know what points are going to be in the exam.
Same with your SHRM if you're an HR person.
So I would break down exactly what that looks like, and I would, on my calendar, I would literally be all right, section 1, part
That's actually very smart. You know what? I never thought to do that. Yeah. I just chapter 1.
No,
I'll figure it out.
No. You gotta be super intentional about it, because if you know this part I can complete in 15 minutes, right? That's all you gotta do. And now you see, really, your 2 months is really 2 months, because you've literally studied the entirety of what you're prepping to take. You've done it.
See,
you know what I mean?
This is why we are yin and yang, because I go with the wind.
No, I can't, because accountability is important to me, because
it is.
If I set something out correctly off rip, I don't have to worry about what that looks like as I'm doing it. I can just focus on absorbing. And that works for me, because again, I have anxiety. So I don't want to worry about where I'm at or what I'm doing and not have that visibility, because then I'm spiraling.
I'll show up to the airport 10 minutes before that plane take off, baby. Nandi be there 10 hours before.
Hey, we got there an hour before.
We did good. I was on time.
Balance. An hour before boarding. We could breathe. I could get something to drink, a little bagel.
I'm still, kind of waking up.
It's okay.
I'm not late, but
it's all right, I drove. That's why I was get in the car.
Exactly. Yin and yang. You have to also have a good supportive system. Mm-hmm. We both have good supportive families. Yeah. That makes a big difference. We also have good supportive friends. And some people don't have that. We have the luxury of having both.
I feel like we've worked for it.
We have worked for it.
We have put in work, bro. Like, it's not been easy. We both dealt with weird friends that we've had to, like, you know, that didn't serve us. And I feel like, again, that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because my issue was I want to help everybody. And then I realized, like,
I'm not helping myself. It's not being reciprocated.
No, that's what they don't even check on me, bro. Like,
that's wild.
I couldn't even ask for $20.
Wild.
That at this big old age and what we got going on, you telling me that I can't count on you?
Wild.
I can't count on you, but like if anything's going on in your life,
I drop what I'm doing.
Immediately call me.
Exactly.
A lot of people are going through that, and I feel like now you're draining all aspects of your life. You better protect your peace. There's no way.
Exactly, and that's why that's why it's good for us to do this podcast and talk to you all, because we literally are. We still go through these things.
Yeah,
not with each other. Let's be clear. That's my boo. But with other people in our lives, we do still go through these things all the time. So it's definitely just great to have a person to pour into. Yeah. And it's good if you have a mom friend.
That part, it's good. And even, again, like I'm not a big social person, so I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, you got a kid? Let's be friends. No, it's not happening for me. I'm sorry. I'm not that person, but I do think
I'm a little that person.
Fuck no. I do think, though, if, you make sure you're intentional about who you have in your life.
Yes.
What you spend your time doing, making sure you're integrating systems like scheduling tools and stuff like that to be accountable of your time, to make sure you have that visibility and you just keep going, whatever that looks like. I don't care if it's a snail trail. Keep going because time goes by anyways. And as long as you're working towards that, you're good. There is balance.
Schedule the massage.
Yeah, we're going to, You know what I mean? Yeah, do what you need to do. But you can balance being a mom and having a good career and being a good friend.
And being successful at all.
And being happy. Finding joy. In your life, you can gain that back. So we just wanted to tie that in to make sure that we shared our story as far as the struggles of being a mom, bro, and a wife and someone that wants a lot out of life, you know what I mean, and just sharing a little tidbit,
a little sprinkle, a little razzle dazzle.
But yeah, we hope to continue talking about that, and we enjoyed our time together. Yes,
thank you for joining us.
See you next.